what if I told you that everything you know about learning new skills is completely wrong? That the reason you're still struggling with that guitar, coding language, or backflip is because nobody told you how your brain actually works. Forget what your teachers taught you, forget what your parents said. Today I'm breaking down the science-backed methods that will have you learning any skill in half the time with double the results. And trust me, number 4 is going to blow your mind. Let's get straight to it. Most people waste 80% of their learning time on stuff that barely moves the needle. Meanwhile, the top performers in any field focus on the 20% that delivers massive results. Think about it. When was the last time you spent 3 hours watching YouTube tutorials instead of actually doing the thing you're trying to learn? Yeah, I see you. I've been there too. But knowing what to focus on is useless if your practice routine looks like a toddler trying to eat spaghetti blindfolded. Let me show you why deliberate practice is the game changer nobody's talking about. Principle number 1, deliberate practice. The difference between regular practice and deliberate practice is like the difference between a tricycle and a Ferrari. Deliberate practice means identifying your specific weaknesses, creating targeted exercises to address them, getting immediate feedback, working at the edge of your ability. The pros aren't practicing more than you. They're practicing smarter than you. Now, before you run off to practice for 10 hours straight, let me stop you right there. Your brain has a dirty little secret it doesn't want you to know. Principle number 2, spaced repetition. Your brain is basically a toddler with trust issues. It needs to be convinced that information is important before it commits it to long-term memory. This is why cramming is the learning equivalent of a sugar rush. Quick spike, faster crash, nothing sticks. Instead, use spaced repetition. Study something, take a break, come back, and retrieve that information. Each time you successfully recall it, your brain says, "Oh, this must be important," and strengthens those neural pathways. But there's a problem most experts aren't telling you about. If you're not making mistakes until you cry, you're doing it all wrong. Principle number 3, embrace failure. Every master was once a disaster. The difference? They failed faster and more frequently than everyone else. Your comfort zone is where skills go to die. If you're not failing regularly, you're not growing. Period. Set up what I call failure sessions. Dedicated practice time where your goal is to fail at least 5 times. Sounds crazy, right? But this is where the magic happens. Speaking of magic, what if I told you that sleeping more could actually make you learn faster? No, I haven't lost my mind. The science on this is insane. Principle number 4, sleep for skill consolidation. While you're drooling on your pillow, your brain is having a wild party, connecting neurons, strengthening pathways, and embedding skills into your procedural memory. A Harvard study showed that participants who slept after learning a new motor skill improved their performance by 20% compared to those who didn't. So yes, that post-practice nap is scientifically approved productivity, but there's something even more powerful than sleep that can supercharge your learning, and I bet you're doing it completely backward. Principle number 5, teach to learn. Want to really learn something? Teach it to someone else. The Feynman technique forces you to simplify concepts and identify gaps in your understanding. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Start a blog, make videos, or just torture your friends with explanations. Just make sure you're teaching what you're learning. Now for the secret weapon that separates the amateurs from the professionals. This one habit will literally rewire your brain. Principle number 6, deep work sessions. Multitasking is the enemy of skill acquisition. Your brain needs focused, uninterrupted chunks of time to build the neural pathways required for mastery. Schedule deep work sessions, 90-minute blocks of intense focus. No distractions, phone in another room. Clear, specific goal for the session. Brief rest period afterward. Think of these as high-intensity interval training for your brain. 4 of these sessions will accomplish more than 8 hours of distracted practice. But deep work is useless without this next principle, the one thing that separates those who merely improve from those who become exceptional. Principle number 7, feedback loops. Practicing without feedback is like driving with your eyes closed. You might be moving, but who knows where you'll end up. Create tight feedback loops. Record yourself and review. Find coaches or mentors. Use technology, apps, sensors, etc. Join communities of practice. The faster and more accurate your feedback, the faster you'll improve. Now let me show you how to put this all together into a learning system that will have people wondering if you've been secretly practicing for years. The 30-day skill acceleration framework. Week 1, fundamentals and research. Identify the 20% of skills that deliver 80% of results. Find top performers to model, set up feedback mechanisms, schedule daily deep work sessions. Week 2 to 3, deliberate practice and rapid experimentation. Daily deliberate practice on weak points. Spaced repetition system. Failure sessions every other day. Teaching what you learn. Week 4, integration and performance. Combine sub-skills into fluid performance. Simulate real-world conditions. Get external feedback. Document progress from day 1, the final push, but here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Learning any skill fast isn't just about techniques and hacks. It's about showing up consistently when motivation fades. It's about pushing through the plateau when everyone else quits. The methods I've shared will accelerate your progress dramatically, but they still require your commitment. The question isn't whether these methods work. The science proves they do. The question is, are you willing to apply them? So what skill are you going to master next? Drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss next week's video on how to overcome the motivation slump that kills most learning projects. Remember, the best time to start learning that skill was 5 years ago. The second best time is right now. Let's get it.